But we had a chance to take out a monster. We took him out, and it should have been done a long time ago.
But instead of celebrating those suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, i.e. the media, the Democrats, Nancy Botox Pelosi, Chuck E. Cheese Schumer, and Ilhan Omar and the rest of the squad, they are lamenting the loss of Soleimani. After all, this is really causing real stress and pressure on Ilhan Omar. It's causing a breakdown. She's grieving. Her heart is breaking.
I feel ill a little bit because of everything that is taking place, and I think every time I hear about conversations around war, I find myself being stricken with PTSD. Since he got into office, the President of the United States has been goading Iran into war. This is a man who is both an arsonist and a fireman. He starts a crisis, then he wants to create the appearance of wanting to solve it.
Traitor. The only word, traitor. Many individuals across the United States on both sides of the political spectrum and even on both sides of the aisle in Washington have called what Ilhan Omar did disgraceful, in the sense that after she gave this impassioned, I'm suffering from PTSD, to which there were people that tweeted to her, "Don't you dare say that you have PTSD when people are truly being traumatized and you're up there grandstanding in a political speech." Some of her defenders said, "Well, you have to remember she's from Somalia, and as a little girl she was in a war-torn nation." Really? I'm sorry, but that doesn't even pass the laugh test. This woman doesn't have PTSD. What she has is this political ideology of hers. She's having this big, no war in Iran rally today. Wonder how well that's going to be attended, since there's no war in Iran. While Sheila Jackson Lee, who I am certainly no fan of, was part of this little press conference that the squad had following President Trump's announcements, as Sheila Jackson Lee is talking and sharing about American casualties at the hands of terrorists, some of whom directed by Mr. Soleimani. It's funny, all of a sudden, Ilhan Omar had a miraculous recovery and cure and deliverance from PTSD.
We left 4,000 plus, maybe 4,400 dead, and over 60,000.
This is just absolutely disgraceful.
In some form, and the war
she is
never
talking,
ended. As I recall,
laughing,
the language in AUMF, it deals
giggling,
with hostilities in
gossiping,
while
Sheila Jackson Lee is talking about American casualties at the hands of Iranian terrorists.
That is the danger
and Ilhan Omar
of not acting,
is laughing.
And I do think,
well, apparently she's over her PTSD. That is over the top, shameful, disgraceful, disgusting. How is this woman a United States congressperson? Who voted for her? What on earth is going on in Minnesota? Why would you perpetrate this virus on the nation like this? There better be someone in Minnesota putting together what's needed to unseat Ilhan Omar, because she is a disgrace at best, she is a traitor at worst, and more than likely, she is a Trojan horse. I've said it before, and I will say it again. There is no such thing as non-radical Islam. Islam is Islam is Islam, and it is not a religion of peace. There is evolutionary Islam, there is revolutionary Islam. Revolutionary Islam tries to enact Sharia law by basically saying, hey, you are the infidel. You're either with us or you die. It's that simple. That's how revolutionary Islam works. That's ISIS. That's the Taliban. Evolutionary Islam puts on a suit and tie. They become lawyers. They go to Washington as elected officials, and they try to use our own laws against us. That's evolutionary Islam. But make no mistake about it. Both evolutionary Islam and revolutionary Islam want the exact same thing. And sadly, of all people to make this case to the American people, it was Bill Maher about 2 years ago on his HBO show, in an argument with Ben Affleck, had to make the case that, there are Christians out there who obviously believe that there is a set of morality and laws that Americans ought to follow. But if they don't follow it, it's kind of like, well, oh well. But there are Islamic people that truly believe if you leave, quote, the faith, if you leave Islam, if you're not part of Islam, you ought to die. Now, not all will act on it, but they all believe it. Bill Maher made that argument, and that's true. Evolutionary, revolutionary Islamists want the exact same thing. And make no mistake about it, Ilhan Omar will always be an apologist for revolutionary Islam and whatever tactics they have to engage in. In fact, she is still declaring that what Trump did is warfare against Iran. Sanctions are economic warfare. They have already caused medical shortages and countless deaths in Iran. You cannot claim to want de-escalation and then announce new sanction with no clear goal. This is not a measured response. So, the plight of Iran's economy is our fault, and that drives them to terrorism. That's what Ilhan Omar is saying. Let's be real clear. The crippling economic sanctions against Iran could stop immediately if they would simply agree to behave, to stop committing acts of terror against the United States. But in the world of Ilhan Omar and so many on the progressive left, America is the great evil that must be stopped. Why, terrorists are just doing this because they're homeless and hungry. No, take your money and feed and take care of your people rather than trying to build weapons to kill people in the Western world. That's the truth of it. And of course, the media absolutely hated this event today, that President Trump, in announcing some rollbacks on regulations that have made it near impossible to get any real mass public works done in this country, from the building of roads, highways, bridges, tunnels, processes that can take years and years and years. And you have figured out that President Trump is a results-driven guy. This is another thing that the left hates about him. And it's why the Washington establishment, both left and right, have a complete disconnect from our president on. President Trump comes from the world that you and I come from, where if you want to keep your job, you have to have accomplishments. You have to get things done. Even I, as a pastor, when I go into a new ministry, oftentimes that ministry is either on a trajectory for growth and they want to make sure that growth continues. So I'm brought in to help facilitate that, get more growth, more expansion happening. If it's a ministry that is in trouble, they want to be out of trouble, whether it's financial, whether they are losing people and it's going down. They want something to turn it around. In other words, there are many of us that I hate to phrase it like this, but our value, the asset that we bring to the table is, do we get results? That's how the world works, whether it's in sports, whether it's in school, whether it's on the job, getting results. Washington, D.C. and weathermen are the only occupations in the world where you can accomplish nothing, be wrong all of the time, and have guaranteed job security. When was the last time the weather was really right? See what I'm saying? And in Washington, they're all about process. They've got committees, and then subcommittees, and then subcommittees, and they don't ever really solve anything. Because if they actually solve something, then they're not needed. It's like the drug dealer. It's like the pharmaceutical companies. It's like the medical industry. There's no money in the cure. The money is in the treatment. The money is in the comeback. And in Washington, D.C., they don't operate on let's actually get something done, unless it's some social justice hogwash that they want to ram down our throat, like, men can use ladies' rooms and stare at 8-year-old girls as they go to the bathroom. That, absolutely, why they can vote on that and pass that overnight. But deregulation and thing that would actually get our economy moving and booming and make us energy independent from the rest of the world, things that have been accomplished under the Trump administration. What is he doing? What is he doing? He's... You know what they're really mad about with what happened with Iran? He got a good result. And he didn't need Congress to get it done. That's what they hate about this man. The fact that he gets results. That sets him over the top. And the fact that he continually points out the obvious. And here we go, Ilhan Omar. The real reason we can't take our foot off the throat of the Iranian economy, as soon as they have breathing room and money, they build weapons to kill people, usually us. Barack Obama funded the terrorism that is Iran, and that drives the media out of their collective minds. And President Trump hit on it again today at this press conference, with surrounded by hard hat wearing workers, real Americans, the kind of people that voted for him. They were nodding their head in agreement with the things he was saying. They were laughing when he made a joke. And it just absolutely puts the media and the libloons over the top, angry and frustrated. Especially when, again, he drove home the point. Iran got this way. They got this gutsy, this ballsy, because of Barack Obama and the money that he gave them.
One of the problems, of which there was many, $150 billion, $1.8 billion in cash, all of that money, and then that money was used for terror. Because if you look at Iran, it wasn't so bad until they got all that money. They used that money for terror. That's when it became really bad. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. They understand that. We have told them very strongly. Iran now is not wealthy like it was when President Obama handed him $150 billion. They're a much different country. We'll see whether or not they want to negotiate. Maybe they want to wait till after the election and negotiate with a weak Democrat, somebody like a Biden or a Pocahontas or Buttigieg or one of these characters. Okay, maybe they want to wait. But I think they're probably well off doing it now, because if you look at the polls and if you look at what's going on, we're doing very well. They're losing a tremendous amount. They're getting hurt very badly by the sanctions. It all can end very quickly. But as to whether or not they want, that's up to them. Not up to me. It's totally up to them.
When Chuck Todd over at NBC tries to say, we did not just give Iran money, it was money owed them. It was. Nothing is owed them. We didn't owe them any money. This was a bribe, pure and simple, from Barack Obama to the mullahs, the ayatollahs, the whatever Allahs over there that run the show, in the hopes that they would be nice under the Obama administration so that he could say, we're scandal-free. You're not scandal-free. You bribed rogue nations. You muscled Ukraine to fire an investigator, never did give them their military aid, and now the very ones that applauded that, oh, what a brilliant man Barack Obama was, they're now wanting to impeach this president over, well, he thought about withholding aid to Ukraine. He didn't actually withhold it. They got their money. They never got anything under Obama. That all said, they should be celebrating that this vile individual of Soleimani is dead. And the president just doesn't understand why they don't understand how significant and historic this is.
And let me tell you what was the best. Forget about presentation, the result. We killed a man who killed many, many Americans and many, many people, thousands and thousands of people. And when I go over to Walter Reed and I meet these young, incredible folks, mostly, it just seems mostly men, but also women, where their legs are gone, their arms are gone. In some cases, both the legs and the arms are gone, and the face and the body is badly damaged. And frankly, 5 years ago, they couldn't have lived, and today they can live because of the wonders of medicine and the wonders of Walter Reed and the people over there, what the job they do, the medical doctors. But I will say this, we caught a total monster, and we took him out, and that should have happened a long time ago. We did it because they were looking to blow up our embassy. We also did it for other reasons that were very obvious. Somebody died. One of our military people died. People were badly wounded just a week before, and we did it. And we had a shot at him, and I took it, and that shot was pinpoint accurate, and that was the end of a monster.
But what is their response? Well, Ilhan Omar has suggestions for Iran that if President Trump makes good on his list of targets that he's got picked out in Iran, well, I've got some targets for you. Trump needs to immediately divest from his businesses, comply with the emoluments clause. Iran could threaten Trump hotels worldwide, and he could provoke war over the loss of revenue from skittish guests. She's actually encouraging an enemy of the United States to take out American targets. Can you believe this woman is a United States congressperson? She's making a joke about not only blowing up American targets, skittish guests that, in other words, American casualties. This woman has to be stopped. She needs to be impeached, removed from office, and arrested. She's a traitor. And Obama funded terrorism unleashed by Iran. Is there any more to say? Yet, Fredo Cuomo demands proof that Soleimani was this really bad guy that had to go. I want proof. Remember, you're still Fredo.
I argue to you, everything has changed in holding this president to account because of what he just authorized. He is asking you to trust him, and it is our job to push back with two words that he has used to advantage, and often without cause, since he was elected. Prove it.
I thought that's who you were.
No, punk-ass from the right call me Fredo. My name is Chris Cuomo. I'm an anchor on CNN.
You're much...
Fredo is from The Godfather. He was that weak brother.
Isn't that your
And
brother?
they use it as an Italian aspersion. Any of you Italian?
I'm a little
Are you
bit.
Italian?
I got a little
It's a
bit.
insult to your people. It's an insult to your people. It's like the N-word for us.
Hey, thanks for watching. This will be a video that will catch YouTube's attention. That's a guarantee. And they keep messing with our subscriptions, so make sure you are still subscribed. Also, check us out on the other channel, because at some point, YouTube is going to really start clearing the decks as the purge is on. But until then, give us a thumbs up, like it, share this video everywhere. Let's get our subscriptions up. Smack the bell for notification of my next rant.